Oy vavoy, how you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying, let's see, what are we studying? Kufyud Gimel? Yeah, that seems about right. Kufyud Gimel. I think. Did we do this? I don't think so. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think this is what we're up to. Alright, today we're studying Daf Kufyud Gimel, but the truth is we have to do kind of almost all of Kufyud Beis and Beis, which is all of like 8 lines. So yeah, nothing major. Alright, so it should be alright until then. Okay, let's just get the show on the road. We're going to start on Daf Kufyud Beis, Amud Beis, 3 lines from the top, but the whole Amud is all of like 12 lines. Tanya Besibas habein v'tani besibas habal. Okay. What was this talking about? Latisav nachla l'vnei Yisrael mimata alma. Okay. Besibas. Okay. Yeah. So we're talking about. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think we're talking about like when a mother dies. So, right. Does her inheritance go to her husband? Wow, it's so funny. What time? What's today? Tuesday? I keep on saying like how long ago I learned these dafs. Like I learned these dafs so long ago and I reviewed them so long ago I can't remember what everything's just like one big mix up of like mothers and brothers and daughters and fathers and uncles and anyways. So I think what it's saying is that a mother's inheritance can go to the husband and it can also go to the child. At first it goes to the husband. If there's no husband, then it goes to the child. I think that's what we're talking about. Tana besibas haben, v'tana besibas habal. So we have a brisa about it going to the son, and a brisa about it going to the husband. Let's skip the next 3 words. V'lotisov nachlo levnei Yisrael mimate el mate. Okay, so the inheritance should not. So okay, but the inheritance should not go from one tribe to another tribe. And that's talking about by way of a daughter who inherits her parents. If you have a daughter who inherits her parents, so then if she dies, so then the inheritance will go to her husband or her child. So, okay. Where am I? So that's talking about going to her son. Okay. How do we know that it's talking about going to her son? Maybe it's talking about going to her husband. Well, 2 psukim later, it says, so that pasuk is talking about her husband inheriting her. So what's the first pasuk talking about? It's talking about the son inheriting his mother. Now, another brisa doing the inverse. Tanya idach. By the way, Dennis, I was reading an article just before, and the word parsimoniously came up, and I was like, "That's our word. That's our word. Parsimonious." I didn't remember what it meant or anything. I think fragrant wouldn't have made sense in that context. So, but nonetheless, I saw it and I recognized it, and I said, Dennis. At the very least, I thought it. Says the Gemara that Kufyud Gimel Amud. Wow, my head is like all over the place. It's not actually all over the place. It's just like kind of unfocused. I'm recording this on October 8th. Very unfocused week. Tanidach v'lotisov nachlo mimata lemata acher. So this is the second pasuk. It says that the inheritance should not go to a different tribe. And that pasuk is talking about going to her husband. It's like besibas. It's like misibat hanova. It's a big theme this week. I think I need to sleep. Okay, maybe it's talking about the son inheriting the mother. When you add the earlier pasuk, that one's talking about the son inheriting the mother. So that's talking about the husband inheriting his wife. Everyone, however, agrees that the second pasuk is talking about the husband inheriting his wife. Friends, just to I don't know if the word is to clarify, but meaning when we're talking about the first pasuk and the second pasuk is Bamidbar Perek Lamed Vav pasuk Zayin, and the second pasuk is Bamidbar Perek Lamed Vav pasuk Tes. So they're two psukim away from one another, and they're very similar. I'll read to you the two psukim. That's one. So they're very, very, very similar, and they're two psukim away from each other. So we're saying the first pasuk is saying that a son inherits his mother, and the second pasuk is saying that a father inherits his wife. My mashmit, how do we know that the second pasuk is Avka talking about the father? So you can skip the next word. Amrabba bar Rav Shila Amar Kra, says Abba bar Rav Shila, because the pasuk says ish. Well, because since the pasuk says ish, it's talking about the husband. But Tavayu ish ksivu, both pasukim say ish. Ela Rav Nachman bar Yitzchok Amar Kra yidbiku. Well, because it says yidbiku. And I think yidbiku is like a lashon of like marriage. So it's talking about the husband. Tavayu yidbiku ksivu, but it says yidbiku in both psukim. Elomer Rave Amar Kra, rather says Rave that the pasuk says yidbiku matos. Okay, well it says yidbiku the tribes, and I guess tribes merge through marriage. Amoija. Ravashi Amar Kra mimate lamate acher uven lav acherhu. Ravashi says because it says from one tribe to a different tribe, and a son is not considered different. It's a child. Oh, somebody's making noise outside. But I have my noise-canceling headphones, which means that they're penetrating the noise-canceling headphones. Menaskein hinchil Yoshua L'Yisrael Saaretz. I was wondering, what if the power washers wash away our sukkah? What would we do? What would we do? What would we do if the power washers wash away our sukkah? We'll be sukkahless. I don't know. Omar Reb Abo, Omar Rabbi Yechanan, says Rabbi Yechanan. Omar Rabbi Yanai, says Rabbi Yanai. Omar Rebbe, says Rebbe. Motba Mishmei, Rabbi Shua ben Korcha. I think maybe, and some people say it was Rabbi Shua ben Korcha. Mirayin lebal, she'enu nota bera'ui kiba muchzik. Aha. How do we know that a husband does not take ra'ui kiba muchzik? What does that mean, chevre? Okay. What it means is that if his okay, so if you have a husband and a wife, so if the wife dies, the husband inherits his wife. Okay, so now let's say the wife was an only child, okay, which means that she stands to inherit her parents, right? So let's say her father dies. Okay, let's say her father and mother died, whatever. So if let's just say her father died and she inherited her father. Now, and then she dies, so her husband inherits her, right? Okay, so she had the property, right? Her father had died, she inherited her father, so now she has the property. She dies, now her husband gets the property. What if she died when her father was still alive? Which means that at the time that she died, she had not yet inherited the property because her father was still alive. Then his father-in-law dies, right? Her father dies. So the question is, who gets that inheritance? Does the husband get it since he inherits his wife, and this is, inheritance that would have gone to his wife, so therefore goes to him? Or do we say, no, it goes to her children, right? Meaning she's not alive, so therefore she can't inherit it, so it goes to her children. So we say that when a husband inherits his wife, it's only with things that that she had already had, right? Right? He's not, what does it say? The husband does not inherit that which she stands to inherit. No, he only inherits what she actually has. So therefore, if her father died while she was alive, and she inherited her father, and then she died, so her husband inherits that. But if she died before her father, which means that at the time that she died, her father is still at his property, so the husband won't get it, obviously, at the time that his wife dies. And then when his shver dies, when the father-in-law dies, he doesn't get it because his wife didn't have it at the time that she died. Rather, the grandchildren will inherit it. So again, minayin lebal she'eino noto b'roi k'bamuchzik. How do we know that the husband does not inherit that which she stands to inherit? Rather, only what she already has at the time of her death. Shenemar, the Pasuk says, "Usguv holid es yoir." That skuv. What's the word when you have a baby? I guess to have a baby. So skuv had a baby Yair. Vayilo esem v'shalosh arim be'etz Gilad, and Yair had 23 cities in Gilad. Minayin Yair shelo l'skuv. How could it be that Yair had these 23 cities and Skuv didn't? Elimelamed shenosha Skuv isha, that Skuv got married umesa b'chai morishel, and she died while her father was still alive. So therefore, when she died, she hadn't yet inherited these 23 cities. So then umesu morishel, those who were to bequeath her, who she stood to inherit, but she died too young. So V'yarsha Yair, so Yair, the grandchild, inherited it rather than Skuv. V'omer, and similarly it says Ve'elazar ben Aharon meis. That Elazar ben Aharon died, and then Pinchas buried him on, what was it? It was Givas Pinchas, right? Givas Pinchas, yeah. So now the Pinchas shelo le'Elazar. How could it be that Pinchas had this hill and Elazar didn't? Elazar Isha Umesa, that Elazar got married and his wife died b'chai Morishah, while those who were to bequeath her were still alive. Umesu Morishah, and then those who stood to bequeath to Elazar's wife, so like her parents died. V'yarsha Pinchas, and then Pinchas inherited it. So we say that the husband does not inherit biroi ki b'muchzakumai ve'omer. Why do we need two psukim? Why do we need both by Yair and Pinchas? V'chi tema Yair tavanosiv itza umesa v'yarsa. Well, maybe you could say that Yair himself was married to a woman who had 23 cities, and then she died, and he inherited it from her directly, not from the grandfather. So Talmud Omar ve'elazar ben Aharon meis. And therefore, so that's why we have the other pasuk of Elazar ben Aharon to say, okay, well then that one is talking about, where the mother dies when the grandparents are still alive. Fine. And maybe you'll say that that Pinchas's Givas Pinchas came to him from Sdei Charabim. Maybe somebody else, kind of made it hektish for the Kohanim, and that's how Pinchas got it. So Makra Bino Nachla Ru'ilo V'Yarsha Bino. No, the pasuk says Bino, meaning we're talking about a inheritance that would have been potentially gone to Elazar, but it doesn't. Rather, it goes to Pinchas. Okay. So we're talking about where Pinchas' mother died before her grandparents, died before her parents, and then Pinchas inherited that stuff. Alright, and then the Mishnah said B'nei Achos. So this was talking about a scenario where an uncle bequeaths to his grandchildren. What? No, an uncle bequeaths to his nephews, but they but he does not inherit them. Okay, so meaning if you have like an uncle and he dies and he doesn't have any parents, doesn't have any children, but he's got this sister, but the sister's also dead. So, but the sister has kids, he has nephews, so then they would inherit the uncle. Okay. So Tana b'nei achis v'lo b'nos achis. So we're talking about the son, right? The son, the nephew is not the nieces. What does that mean? In terms of precedence. That meaning, like we've been saying, that if there's a niece and a nephew, so the nephew would inherit the uncle, not the niece. But if there was only a niece, of course she would inherit the uncle. And if there's only a nephew, then the nephew would inherit the uncle. But if there's a niece and a nephew, the nephew takes precedence. Tanu Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak kamein to Rav Huna. Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak taught before Rav Huna. V'yarash, when it says v'yarash, I think the point is that the vav is extra to add on to say makis yerusha shniya liyerusha rishona, to compare the first level inheritance, i.e. a father to son, to basically all other inheritance levels of inheritance. My yerusha rishona ben kodem lebas, af yerusha shniya ben kodem lebas. That just like by a father bequeathing to his son, a son inheriting his father, the son has precedence over the daughter. So also by all of the other inheritances, also the son would take precedence over the daughter. Tani Rabba bar Chanina kame de Rav Nachman. Rabba bar Chanina taught before Rav Nachman. V'yo bayoman chilo es bonov. And it will be on the day that he bequeaths to his sons. B'yom atamapil nachlos v'yatamapil nachlos balaylo. So you bequeath during the day, you do not bequeath during the night. Amalei Abaye. Abaye says to Rabbi Bar Chanina, Kami de Rav Nachman. Oh, what's this? What's this? Is there a girsa chain? Amalei Abaye. Interesting. So some girsas don't have Amalei Abaye, which right, because I was wondering, like Abaye isn't usually with Rav Nachman. Rav is by Rav Nachman. You don't usually see Abaye with Rav Nachman, I think. Some girsas taka don't have Amalei Abaye, but anyways, Elameata de shachiv b'yamama hu de yaisei lebnei man de shachiv b'lelia lo yaisei lebnei. So 1 second, we're saying that bequeathing only happens during the day, not at night. So what if you die at night? There's no bequeathing. The kids don't get any inheritance. Duma din nachlis komet. Maybe you're talking about the judgments, the adjudications of inheritances. That only happens during the day because Bezdin only convenes, adjudicates during the day. The Tana is willing to write of Yisrael lechukas mishpat, that it will be to the Bnei Yisrael for a judgment. When we were talking about inheritance, wait, what was it? Okay, fine. So Ora kola parsha kula lios din, that we treat inheritances like adjudications. Says Rav Yudah, Shlosha shenichnasu levakar sachole. If 3 people enter to visit and somebody who's unwell, ratzu kozvin. So if you have 3 people, if they want, they can write a document. Okay, right? Meaning, if you have somebody who's unwell and he's a shchivmira and he's making a will, a tzavoya about who should get what, so they can make a document about it. Ratzu osentin, or if they want, they can. There's 3 people there, they can make a bezdin about it. So Shnayim, if there's only 2 of them though, then obviously you can't make a bezdin. Well, not obviously. We'll get there in Masechta Sanhedrin, not too far off. But then you don't make a bezdin. Veinosin, where am I? So kozvin veinosin din. So if there's only 2 people, then you would write a document about what he says, but you wouldn't actually adjudicate. And if Chisda says that when they can make a bezdin, it's only during the day of a balayla, afilu shlosha, but if it's at night, then even if there were 3 of them, kozvin veinosin din, they would write it down and they would not make a judgment because it's at night and you can't have judgments at night. My time tavlu eidim vein eid naisadain, because since they were there at night and you can't make bezdin at night, so they're in effect witnesses. Therefore, even the next day, I guess they wouldn't be able to act as a bezdin because they're witnesses. Vein eid naisadain, a witness cannot become a judge. Amalei enochinami kamino. And I guess Rabbi Bar Chanina says, Eina Chinami, that yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not that bequeathing can't happen at night. Sorry for the double negative. What I'm saying is that adjudicating bequeathing happens only during the day and not at night. All right, I think we're going to stop here. What time is it? Maybe I'll try to squeeze in another recording. I should really try that.